one of the most famous adult film stars of all time. I think that's very fair to say. Do you get pissed off when people say you're no Ron Jeremy? Has anyone ever said that to you?
I am Ron Jeremy. You've never seen us both in the same room.
Fair enough.
Got the bald-haired wig and
I would like
got
to
the
see
fat body suit that I put on.
How is he still alive, by the way, with all the drugs he's done in his life?
Well, you know what? He doesn't do drugs and he doesn't drink.
He doesn't look too good these days. Let's be honest.
Well, no, that's actually he's 160, but the 16-year-olds keep him that young.
Fair enough.
I mean, 18-year-olds keep him that young.
All right, so we're going to take some phone calls. 702-257-5396 is the number to call if you want to ask a question or comment. We're talking about Donald Trump. We're talking, of course, about the protest throughout the country. And Evan Stone says he is seriously considering running for mayor of Las Vegas. Would you vote for him over Carolyn Goodman? Would you vote for somebody with no political experience, certainly has experience in business and has experience in the adult entertainment industry? So that's the question that I would
you have to think about
pose.
this. If Las Vegas were to be the porn capital of the world, how much additional revenue would that bring in every single year? Because the number is very high.
Well, you know, I mentioned that, and I think it's important to note that I think Evan has something in common with Oscar Goodman, and that is the fact that Oscar loves this city just as much as Evan does. All right, let's go to the phones. Again, 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to George. George, you are on the Vegas Take with Evan Stone. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, George?
Hi, gentlemen. How you doing? Listen,
Good.
With regard to Mayor Goodman, I think she was ill prepared for the interview with Anderson Cooper, but I could understand her pain. She loves this city just as much as Oscar does. He's done a lot for this city. They've been the cheerleaders for Las Vegas forever.
Sure.
One of the things that troubles me the most is that if you go back to the H1N1 pandemic in 2009, we had in the state of Nevada 5,500 cases of H1N1. We did not close down the state at all. The casinos stayed open.
Right.
People came to Las Vegas, but there were 61 million cases of H1N1 in the United States.
Right.
The target group for the H1N1 virus were people who were 18 to 50 years old, roughly. So if you look at our economy and our business, we didn't practice social distancing in Las Vegas. Yet, statewide, there were 5,000 cases, 44 deaths.
So I'm assuming that your point being because of the low amount of deaths and cases, I think what he's trying to say is that we probably shouldn't close down. I certainly don't want to put words.
I don't think we should have. I mean, we weren't mitigating like we were.
So you think the Strip should have remained open the entire time?
He's saying it was an overreaction.
Well, okay, but
which I've said
an overreaction is one thing. An overreaction is one thing. Well, Evan, let me ask you that question. Do you think that the Strip should have never closed down? I mean, because I think the opposite. I think the governor made the right decision in doing that. What do you say?
I think it was the biggest mistake America ever made was shutting itself down. This is totally out of proportion, and these numbers do not equate to shutting down an economy of 350 million people.
What would have happened, though, if the Strip remained open? I think it's fair to say we could have looked like New York. You have all these tourists coming.
Yeah. What if? A lot of what ifs there. What if we hadn't done it? Then maybe nobody would have died. You could say that same thing. What if we had done some of it, but not the social distancing? Well, a lot of that stuff is a lot of what if. But the numbers we have right now do not equate to shutting down the United States economy.
Well, are you okay with opening up the Strip tomorrow?
Yes.
You would be down there?
Yes.
Really? And you wouldn't be afraid of contracting the virus?
The only issue with that is that if you open up the Strip tomorrow, if you open up the Strip 2 months ago, if tourists aren't going to come, the Strip's just going to set money on fire. So it doesn't make any sense.
That's a part of it from
economically to be open.
That's the economic
side. But I think local businesses and local casinos should have been open because, like Evan said, this is a total overreaction considering the numbers and the circumstances. And Brian, we don't know when the virus got here. We don't actually know what the mortality rate is because we've been testing for the actual virus itself. And people that have severe symptoms as opposed to antibodies and people who may have gotten the virus back in December or January or something along those lines. Okay. And we could never look like New York if the Strip was shut down, or if the Strip was even open, if people weren't here. And Las Vegas itself, we don't have vertical living.
I'm assuming if people were here. I'm making that assumption if people were here. And I think we could have looked like New York if you had hundreds of thousands of people on the Strip every day. Absolutely.
But by that logic, the entire country would have looked like New York.
No, because the casinos and our specific demographic of people from all over the world coming to the Las Vegas Strip is very different than if you're in Omaha or other parts of the country.
So you're saying people would have come here, stayed for a couple of days, and left?
Absolutely, and I think it would have spread the virus, not necessarily just in Las Vegas or Nevada, but throughout the country.
But you don't think that if the virus was here, let's say during CES or during the Super Bowl, that it was spread at an event like that?
The problem is we don't know how many people were infected by it then, and we don't have the statistics for me to make an educated opinion on that. I just can't do it. But let's get back to the phone calls. Evan Stone with us, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Ron. Ron, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Ron?
Hey, Brian. I'm you know what? First of all, I'm glad that you took control of the show again. Chris sucks, man. He always puts me against a hard break. Anyway,
sorry. I'll send the message to Chris. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's cool. You never put me up against a hard break unless you have a guest and you need to clear the lines. But you're cool people.
So what's your
go ahead.
What's your question for Evan? Go ahead, Ron.
Evan, you want to be our governor?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I want to be president of the United States of America. But in order to do that, the people I talked to, the money people, they said I need to hold a political office beforehand, before I can actually get up there, unless I hold a degree or something like that, which I don't, unless there's a degree offered in adult industry. And I have them all.
Go ahead, Ron.
Porn HD.
I'll tell you something. Me and Brian, I love Brian, man. He's great. I would be his best friend if I could ever meet him.
I think he might actually have a crush on you at this point, Brian.
We're like totally opposite. But I'll tell you what, you're very knowledgeable, and you know it would be great if somehow, some way you could run for governor. I would like that.
And you know what? Then he can hire me as his media liaison. I could be like his Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I would do that for Evan, by the way, because I know it would be a very.
You could be Evan's official jester. That would be great.
Evan,
you speak. Reporter.
And then you
could do this.
I think I could. Listen, I would absolutely do what Sarah Huckabee Sanders did for Evan, and I would just pull in all the dirty stuff underneath the rug, and I would only shed you in a positive light. Well, I would do that anyway.
Bring the dirt out. Bring it all.
702-257-5396. Let's go to Steve. Steve, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Steve?
Did we lose Steve?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Having
Go ahead.
to do the job, and he wants to research, what this town really needs, and, he sounds like he's an intelligent person. Maybe it's time for a change. And may I make one other statement? Is that okay, Brian?
Sure. Evan, so wait, hold on a second. Steve, you're saying you would vote for Evan.
He is endorsing Evan Stone as mayor, yes.
Is that an endorsement, Steve?
If he feels he can do the job, sometimes it's good to get a new broom sweeps clean. Somebody new, somebody fresh, somebody with new ideas. If he feels he can do it, and, he has the confidence to do it.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Steve.
One last note. The masks are not effective. Here's why. Cigarette smoke goes right through them. Public Library of Science reported that cigarette smoke measures 2 microns. Guess what? The coronavirus measures 1. It'll go right through the mask. So all this nonsense about mask gloves, it helps a little, but it doesn't stop it. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Good show. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for your vote.
So all right, let's go with that. The coronavirus, we know it travels through the air. We understand that it stays on objects. JD, you even talked about the fact that it could be on the back of your shoes. I'm just surprised, Evan, that you'd be okay with opening. Listen, I'm okay. Let me give you my opinion. I'm okay with small business opening up right now. We took a trip to Utah. We had a nice dinner, actually walked into the restaurant and had a couple beers, and it was great, right? But I'm one of those people that says I don't think the Strip and gaming should open up. Let's start phase 1, what the president is saying. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Let's start with phase 1. Let's make sure we're good, and let's be careful about this because we don't want the same thing to happen again, right? We don't. That's why I'm afraid about opening up the Strip. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Absolutely.
So what do you say to that?
Well, the same thing is not going to happen again because the same thing didn't happen. The numbers that you have, for this virus, you're saying that these death numbers are high enough to shut down the economy. And then the danger is, if we all get together, that you're going to get the virus that probably won't kill you.
Well, what do you mean probably won't kill you?
It could. Right.
So we've had close to 70,000 people that have died in a couple months. It's a pretty serious virus.
So, okay,
Brian,
that number.
We don't know what that number actually is.
You don't know what that number
We really
is.
According
don't
to
know.
who?
According to the fact that the CARES Act is paying hospitals.
What does it have to do with
list-
the death toll?
Because hospitals
that they're making
hospitals
it up?
have an incentive to
Yes.
list it as a death. Absolutely,
Okay, well,
yes.
Evan,
Absolutely.
you've asked
Absolutely.
me, where's your proof that's your opinion? So now I'm going to ask you the same question. Where is your proof that you think that these death numbers have been inflated?
I'm asking for proof that these numbers are correct. And what I'm saying is these numbers are all because of the pandemic. All these numbers you just gave me are all because of this virus that killed them. Is
Well,
that
I
what
mean,
you're saying?
in
That's
many-
what the number
Brian,
is, right?
In not all cases, but in many
Right.
cases,
Let me
they
tell
had
you-
the coronavirus.
Let me tell you a stat here. So the last 3 years, from February 1st through May 1st, there has been 715,000, 719,000, and 720,000 deaths in 2020. Why has you want to justify shutting down the economy and putting 32 million people out of work, including 400,000 in Nevada, then why is that number? That number should be 1.8 million. It shouldn't be the exact same number. So where are the influenza deaths? Where are the pneumonia deaths? Where are the other deaths? Where is this overall pestilence that is taking place in the United States? It's only economic at this point because the deaths
I
have
disagree.
not increased the last 3 years. I mean, the data came out. From
What does that
from
have to do with the coronavirus? We've only had the coronavirus for several months. Scientists are trying to come up with something that can cure the virus, or some. There's something called a flu shot. You can go and get shots. We don't have
You're
that. for the
totally missing
coronavirus.
the point. The point is, Brian, we're not seeing the increase in deaths that we should expect to see from having such a destructive pandemic. The deaths are the exact same as they were the last 2 years, but now
What do you
32
mean the
million
last
people
2
don't have
years?
jobs.
What do you mean the last 2 years? We didn't have the coronavirus 2 years ago. I
I'm
don't know.
saying overall deaths in the United States from February 1st to May 1st.
Deaths from what?
Collectively, no matter what it is.
What does it have to do with the coronavirus?
Just death in general is not up in the United States
What does it
in
have
the
to do
last
with
3 years now.
What do car accidents and heart attacks have to do with people dying in this
Well,
pandemic?
the whole point of what we're doing right now is we're trying to prevent hospitals from being overrun and people dying, right? It was all about stop the spread. Then it was flatten the curve, and now it is basically eradicate the virus. Or if you're a
It's
Democratic
always
state,
been how do we save lives and make sure people do not contract the virus.
but what
It's
I'm
always been
saying
that.
is the death toll is not higher across the country than it was 2 years ago or last year.
That has nothing to do with the coronavirus.
It has everything to do with the coronavirus.
What
Brian.
does 2 years
Because
ago
the-
have to do with now?
Because the entire goal is to prevent a total increase in deaths
from
and
what?
hospitalizations from
What does a car accident have to do? What does a drunk driver or somebody who overdose have to do with the corona? I don't understand the correlation.
How do you not understand that? Do you understand what I'm saying, Evan?
I have
Evan,
no idea.
Evan, what do you think I'm trying to say right now?
We have so many people die each year in America, right?
Okay.
Now, all of a sudden, we have a corona pandemic. Why is there not an increase in the number of people that have died in America? If there's a big death, there should be 30,000 more or 60,000 more, whatever number you want to pick for the coronavirus.
Or to justify
Explain to me,
32 million
people dying,
jobs lost, it should be a million
people
more.
dying of something else other than the coronavirus. What does that have to do with what this pandemic? What does that have to do with it? When you contract the coronavirus, okay, and what does that have to do with somebody dying in a car accident or dying of a drug overdose or dying having sex? What is that? I don't understand. What is the correlation?
I have 100 people that die every year in America. I
Okay.
have 100 people. Now, we have a corona pandemic. It's killing
Yes.
so many thousand more people, or so many hundreds or tens or whatever, a couple more people. See, it kills one more person, right?
It's not a
then how
couple
come my
people.
death toll is not 101?
But it's not a couple people.
That's-
No. That's what I'm saying. If I have 100 people that die in America in 1 year, right? Now I have a corona pandemic. Now I get one person that dies because of that. Now how come I don't have 101 dead people? How come I still only have 100?
And the argument is that the differential in deaths that doesn't exist does not justify the jobs that have been lost and the economic damage that has taken place.
Let's get back to the
That-
phone
That is
calls.
the argument.
702-257-5396. Let's go to Ira. Ira, you're on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Ira?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. What's
doing
on your
great.
mind, Ira?
Not much. We can pretty much talk about anything, but I've talked to you a few times. So the last time we were talking, I was trying to talk about, there's 70,000 people dead, which is terrible, but there's only 30 million people unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
I don't. Well, here's my opinion on that because you're bringing up unemployment and deaths. Let me tell you something. I'd rather have the whole world unemployed than more people die. When you're 6 feet underneath the ground,
that's the craziest thing you've ever seen. In your entire
no, it's
life.
not. When you're 6 feet
Do you know
underneath.
what happened with 30 million people out of work? What's going to happen?
Okay, let me just finish. Let me just finish my
Brian,
thought.
we had this argument last time. You cut me off.
You're cutting me off. You're cutting me off.
No, because you cut
I
me
would
off.
rather.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. That's very nice of you, sir. I would rather people not have a job than be 6 feet underneath the ground, because as you know, when you're 6 feet underneath the ground, you don't care whether you're unemployed or not. You don't care if you have benefits. You don't care if you're going to lose your small business, because you're dead. And I care more about people living and dying than people that, listen, it's a horrible thing. People are unemployed. I have sympathy and empathy for all those people, some of whom have lost their businesses. We've had some of those people on this show before. Just because I want to make sure we are safe does not mean I don't care about the economy. I just put lives ahead of the actual economy.
But you have to realize that unemployment
guest,
can lead
Evans,
to death, and will, in a lot of cases, lead to death.
I'm sorry?
Your guess you had Evans talking about this never should have been down because the numbers doesn't mean the government should have shut everything down.
Okay, well, I disagree with that.
You got 30. Listen to me. Let me finish. You got 30 million people out of work. Too much. What do you think they're going to do? They have no money.
Okay, so let me respond to that now. All right. Well, you asked me a question. Now I'm going to answer your question.
I'll expand on it.
Okay.
After he's done.
You asked me a question. Now I'm going to answer your question. While the unemployment benefits are not perfect in this country, certainly not in this state, there are many people that if they were working, they are able to get unemployment benefits to get by. Now, I understand that there are a lot of small businesses that are struggling. I completely and totally get that. I am a firm believer, and maybe this is the positive side, I'm a firm believer is eventually America's going to come back. We're going to get this thing back on track. Now, again, my number one concern is always the health of the people, the good people in this country. And that is where I look at first. Number two should be the economy, not number one. Number one is the well-being of the citizens in this country. I understand there are 30 million people that are out of work. I have empathy and I feel horrible, but I have more empathy for all those families out there, the 70,000 plus, I believe, or close to 70,000 that have died. I'm thinking about them first before I'm thinking about those that are unemployed.
If you're worried about health, and let's talk about cancer. Cancer kills 650,000 people every year in the United States.
Why are we talking about cancer?
Let me finish, Brian. And sugar has a proven catalyst of cancer and the formation and the spread of cancer. By that logic, I mean that's 10 times more people than have died of in the last 3 months of the coronavirus.
You can't catch cancer by going to the supermarket.
By that logic, we should be taking sugar out of all the food that we purchase.
Okay, sugar, cancer, and coronavirus have absolutely zero correlation.
You're all about health. And
zero correlation. That's a completely different subject. I'm not going to talk about cancer.
We're making measures to stop the coronavirus, but we're creating problems. Why not do the exact same thing with something like cancer, which actually kills 10 times more people than the coronavirus has, and it has for every year for the last 30 years.
You can stay in your home and not leave your house your entire life, and you can get cancer. I'm sorry, I don't understand that correlation. Let's go to James. James, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, James?
James, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, man? Go ahead, James. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
How come it's always the libtards that don't want to go back to work and want to?
You got us.
Okay, have a nice day, Brady.
Great call, Brady.
702-25.
One of your best.
702-257-5396. By the way, the word libtard is just, it shows his ignorance when you make statements like that. That's like me saying every Trump supporter is a Klan member. I know that's not true. I wouldn't say that. 702. Some of them are, though. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Penny. Penny, you're next up on the Vegas Take.
Hi, Penny.
Hi, Brian. I just want to say I totally agree with Evan. I'm totally tracking with you as far as how many people died. And I also think the numbers are skewed because of the hospitals getting compensated if the patient dies because of COVID. So good job, Evan. Love listening to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. I just think Penny is a huge Evan Stone adult film star fan. Am I wrong in saying that? I think she's biased.
I only know one Penny, and she's far less.
You know, I just had a thought about Evan Stone in politics, and I'm thinking to myself, whether it's mayor or senator or president, but Evan Stone, the candidate with nothing to hide.
Listen, I vote differently.
Because you have nothing to hide. Everyone can see every piece of you whenever they want to.
I disagree. Evan is a very shy guy. By the way, for the record, it's my opinion. I vote based on if I think you're a good dude. even if I disagree with your politics. This is a perfect example. If Donald Trump was a good dude, I would have voted for him. Evan's a good dude. He doesn't treat women like the way Donald Trump treats women. He pleases them. Donald Trump doesn't even. When was the last time Donald Trump had sex with his wife? They don't even sleep in the same bed, Evan. That would never happen to you. That would never happen to you. All right, let's go back to the phone calls. Who do we got next? Kevin.
He never comes to the orgy.
702-257-5396.
He gets the invites though.
702-257-5396. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin, you're next up. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Kevin?
Pelosi's giving it to him.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Kevin? What's on your mind?
Just calling to say, JD, you're awesome. Brian, I try to deal with you, but 80,000 people a year die from influenza.
So now let's compare coronavirus to the flu. That's very intelligent. You're comparing coronavirus to the flu. That's a very intelligent thing you're doing, sir. Well, guess what? How long? All right, so let's look at the death rate. Let's go by your standards. How long has the coronavirus been here, and how long you're going by a year of the flu? We're only several months into this, and 70,000 people have died.
Flu season's 4 months long, Brian.
Are you seriously comparing the flu to the coronavirus? Are we still having this conversation? And you're saying you're struggling to deal with me? Are you nuts?
80,000 a year from influenza with all the medical.
All right. So what are you saying, sir? That this is no worse than the flu? Is that your point, sir?
Absolutely.
Are you that brain dead? Okay. Well, that's ridiculous.
But my biggest question is you always dog on Trump. I want to know if you voted for Hillary.
Well, if you've listened to this show and you had half a brain, you would know that I have not voted for Hillary, that I am not a Democrat, and that is a very ignorant statement you just made.
Actually, Kevin, Brian did not vote in the last election.
All right, well, that's true. I didn't vote. I don't agree with voting for the lesser of two evils unless it's Evan Stone versus Donald Trump. No, I'm just kidding.
Fair enough.
So you're not evil.
I'll take that.
702-257-5396. Let's go to Craig. Craig, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Craig?
Hi. I just wanted to say to Brian that if he's sitting here saying that he's for every life and to hell with the economy.
I didn't say the hell with the economy. I never said that.
Okay. Well,
no, it's not okay. I didn't say that.
I mean, Brian, if everyone was unemployed, there would be no economy, so you kind of said it.
Go ahead, Craig.
Okay?
Thank you. Go
You're
ahead.
very pious in saying that when you have a secure, good-paying job, if you did not have one, tell me what the hell you think. And if you say that it would be the same thing, then you're not believable.
I have no idea where you're going with this. I don't care how much money you make at your job. My opinion stays the same. I care more about listening to the scientists, the doctors, and the experts when they say it's safe for us to be out there rather than somebody who calls into a show and might have lost his job or is hurting financially. Sir, with all due respect, I would rather you – hold on. I would rather you hurt financially than be dead.
No, what he is saying is that if you didn't have a job, you wouldn't have this opinion.
Well, let's hear what he's – go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's easy for you to say that because you have a job.
Well, first of all, once again, you are making an assumption that is not true. You are making an assumption that is not true. For a good portion of my life, radio paid crap. Okay? I know exactly what it's like to have no money in your bank account. And I'm telling you right now, if I was in that same situation or I was unemployed or if I was Evan Stone's towel boy as an intern and I wasn't getting paid money, I would still feel the exact same way. And that is this. I care more about the death toll and I care more about life and death than I do about the economy. Doesn't mean I'm crapping on the economy. I'm just putting our safety, health first before the economy. So you can mischaracterize things I say all day long, sir. I know what it's like to struggle. I'm not a trust fund baby, and I understand because I've been working since I was 15 years old. So don't you give me that crap.
Evan, what are your thoughts on Joe Biden, the candidate?
I love Joe Biden.
Do you?
I think he is the best representation that the left could present.
I sense sarcasm.
He is brilliant. He's had so many years doing the same job and still complaining about the same thing. So I know he's got a good plan
so he's a problem
to fix it this
Wait, are you
one
talking
time.
about Mitch McConnell? That's what you were talking about, right?
Mitch can go too.
Evan, do you have anything you'd like to promote on this show?
Evan Stone. I'm going to run for mayor of this beautiful city, and there's a reason why, because yes, I can do the job, and not thinking that maybe I can do the job. The city itself does not need promotion. Right. What the city needs is someone to show you the promotion. The city is already beautiful, perfect, immaculate, the best city you could ever go to have any kind of event, party, get-together, gathering, gamble, joyous occasion. because that is what makes Vegas. The people. And I will bring that to you.
Wow, I think that round of applause.
Really good.
I think that
Really
was
good.
That was very impressive. Listen, I am making my endorsement right now. I said Larry David for president, Evan Stone for mayor of Las Vegas. Evan, you have my vote. Hey, this has been a lot of fun, man.
Really enjoyed it.
This has been a lot
Fantastic.
of fun.
Thank you very much.
We need to take more phone calls earlier when you get here because I like the calls. They're a lot of fun. But I want to get you back on the show, man, in a few weeks or so. I know you have a busy schedule, but bring your lovely girlfriend as well because she's very pretty to look at. And by the way, she's awesome. She's absolutely awesome.
We're actually gonna rent out a tiny house. That'll be our next location for our
Yeah,
set.
he's like, you guys got a job. You have no idea. We're actually in the back of a van right now.
Evan, all seriousness, we bust each other's balls on social media. I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too.
You are awesome, Evan. You are the best, and we look forward to having you on the show again real soon.